The rain was relentless that evening, drumming against the fogged windows of the transit station where Caden sat, watching the hurried masses pass by in a blur of exhaustion and damp coats. In the corner of his eye, he noticed an older man fumbling with a torn paper bag, its contents threatening to spill onto the wet concrete floor of the terminal. Without a word, and without seeking the gaze of the surrounding crowd, Caden stepped away from his bench, knelt beside the man, and seamlessly offered his own canvas tote, holding it open until the scattered belongings were safely secured. There was no grand exchange of gratitude, no audience to applaud the intervention, and Caden simply returned to his seat as if the interaction had never occurred. This fleeting moment perfectly encapsulates what psychologists and behavioral economists refer to as quiet compassion, a profoundly deep form of altruism that operates entirely outside the modern economy of social validation and performative empathy. We live in a culture that increasingly demands visibility for virtue, suggesting that an ethical act only truly matters if it is witnessed, recorded, and subsequently rewarded by the community. However, the psychological architecture of quiet compassion suggests something entirely different about human motivation and moral resilience. When we remove the expectation of external applause, our brain shifts away from the dopamine-driven feedback loops of social approval and engages deeper neural pathways associated with intrinsic moral identity. Engaging in invisible impact requires a fundamental behavioral shift where the value of the action is derived not from the reaction of others, but from the internal alignment with one's own deeply held ethical principles. This unobserved empathy builds a psychological fortitude that cannot be easily shaken by external criticism or the fluctuating tides of public opinion. Because the individual has learned to source their self-worth from their own private integrity rather than the shifting metrics of societal praise. If we zoom out to observe the broader systemic effects of this behavior, we begin to understand that quiet compassion serves as the invisible mortar holding the bricks of a functioning society together, much like the deep foundations of a massive bridge that remain forever hidden beneath the dark water. These unrecorded acts of decency provide the structural stability required for communities to weather inevitable storms of conflict and hardship. The shift in identity happens when we stop asking how our actions will be perceived and start asking what kind of quiet architecture we are leaving behind in the spaces we occupy. True behavioral wisdom asks us to accept that our most impactful moments might never be known to anyone but ourselves. And in that silent understanding, we find a profound, enduring peace that external validation could never possibly provide.